I always make a habit of knocking or ringing the doorbell, even if the house is vacant. My clients and I were standing on the porch as I rang the doorbell of a vacant house, and we all distinctly heard, "Who is it?" in a gruff old lady voice. We all looked at each other. I asked if they heard it, and they nodded their heads up and down. We went in and checked out the whole house, including the closets, but found no one. We didn't make an offer, needless to say. Years ago, I had a listing that a seller said was haunted by a young boy. When my article came out in the newspaper for advertisement of a new listing, there was a young, dark figure of a boy standing in the doorway in the picture. I was showing a home this past spring, and we were coming down from the walk-up attic. The door slammed in my face. I pretended that it was no big deal, but I was instantly unsettled and couldn't wait to leave. I was showing a home built in the 1800s. The kitchen was actually located in the basement. When I went to get the lockbox key, my client told me that the door to the basement/kitchen was unlocked. So we went ahead and went in that way. We pulled the door closed behind us, but didn't touch any locking mechanisms. We proceeded to preview the home. We decided to exit the same way we came in, but when we went to open the door, it was locked. That creeped us all out, so we ran upstairs, and fortunately we were able to get out of the back door. A few years ago, we sold a pig farm to a new home developer. They decided to put the model home on the same lot that used to be the slaughterhouse. We got to sell the house, and my partner and I would be in the model home and experience doors opening and closing on their own quite often. But the amazing part was, at least once a day you could count on smelling bacon or ham cooking. So much so that the clients would ask who was cooking. It smelled so good. Needless to say, we never told them it was a pig farm, slaughterhouse. The model home took a while to sell in the end, but from what I know, it never smelled like baking again since the new owners moved in. Very strange. I work with bank-owned properties and had an inspection request for a property out in the country. It was a neat old farmhouse just off the interstate. I arrived, walked around the exterior, and entered the property through the lockbox provided. The home seemed to be secured. Nothing seemed unusual. As I went from room to room taking pictures and noting repair items, I became intrigued with the unique features, including an observation tower in the center of the home that had a spiral staircase. I climbed up. Incredible views in every direction. As I continued my inspection, I went to the basement. As I came around the corner, I saw an iron door, swinging, as if it had just been used. Every hair on my head stood up as I saw beyond that door, a long tunnel. I quickly reached for my cell phone and turned to hightail it back up the stairs. This is when I discovered that I was in an area far enough out of town that I had no cell phone service. I was freaked out. I secured the house and left immediately. Up the road, I came across a neighbor in his yard. I stopped to ask if he'd seen any activity around the property recently. He said it had been vacant for years. I told him it seemed like someone was taking care of the house. He advised that there was a carriage house next door connected by an underground tunnel, but he believed that the carriage house was also vacant. I told him I located the tunnel and felt like there must have been someone in that house. He shook his head and said, "Don't think anyone has been in there for a long time." I learned 2 lessons that day. 1, always practice the buddy system, and 2, check the cell for service before I enter a house. My clients wanted to see a renovated home in the historic part of Willington, North Carolina. To my knowledge, this home was not special. The showing instructions were that the listing agent had to be present during the showing, which is not unusual in a luxury home. So I made all the arrangements. The listing agent that met with me was actually an old friend of mine whom was new to the real estate business. We got to the house before my clients, so we took off upstairs to explore the home, like two little girlfriends. I remembered locking the front door with a deadlock bolt because I did not want anyone coming in while we were upstairs. Gorgeous home. My realtor friend and I were having a lot of fun just talking together. I saw my clients drive up, and I went downstairs to let them in. I put my hand on the large wooden doorknob, and to my surprise, the door just opened in my hand. I thought maybe my clients had pushed the door from the outside, but then I realized they were standing on the porch, a long way from the door. Then I also remembered that I put the deadlock bolt on, but I had not unlatched it yet. I made a mental note that it was really odd, because the force of the door opening, it bent my elbow back without any effort from me. Clients loved the house. They wanted a friend who works for a renovation company to see the house, so I scheduled a second showing. That friend brought her 17-year-old daughter along. The 17-year-old walked in and looked at the house, and then asked, "Was anyone killed in this house?" Good realtor that I am, I said I would not have any knowledge of this unless someone told me. She said, "I feel creepy." She was standing in the closet under the staircase. Later, I thought about that daughter's comment and the experience with the door. So I checked the MLS for prior listings on the home. The previous listing agent had listed the home as being on the old Willington ghost tour. So I called my friend and said, "Okay, tell me the story." She said nothing bad, that it was just a little girl, and that she had had an encounter with her at the closet door under the staircase. She seems to open the closet door from the inside while it's locked outside. My friend said she was so afraid that the little girl would be there when the client opened the closet door. Well, apparently she was there at my second showing with the 17-year-old daughter of my friend, which is what led me to research it. Obviously, she was there at my first showing helping me to welcome the clients into the house. Then I told my friend about the front door. My friend said that she's not a bad ghost, she just likes to have fun. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you think about it, realtors, their job is to look through houses, and sell houses. So you have to think they had to have something. Like, there had to have been a bunch of these stories, and there are. And they're pretty interesting. So, yeah, I hope you liked it, guys. Please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. And remember, there's always someone or something watching you.